Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Today is a very special day. We have my very good friend Ziv the Watch Guy. But before we get started, good morning, Vietnam. I always start these with good morning, Vietnam. Do you know where that's from?
Nowhere.
Robin Williams, Good Morning, Vietnam, the movie. So rest in peace, Robin Williams. So this is the Money Matrix podcast where smart money finds a smarter way. And I'm going to be asking you a series of questions and we'll just talk and just open dialogue, if that's cool.
That's awesome.
So let's start by, we met by fluke, really. And it was what, 7, 8, 10 years ago, something like that?
I'd say that's about right. I remember the exact day. Like I remember the day that it happened.
So just backstory, since I was a kid, 19 years old, I've always wanted a specific Daytona. And that was my first watch that I was getting on my journey of collecting, trading, and flipping and doing whatever. And you were able to source it for me, and it was a very sentimental moment. And it meant so much because I hit that milestone of what I wanted, because I've always wanted it, but other things came first, family and this, that, and the other. And, you know, at that point, you were starting out also in your journey. So tell me a little bit about how you even got into this, because it's not the traditional way of, you know, religious people who are religious, are devout, go into business. Usually they're going to Torah and they go into learning and studying. How did you get into watches?
Absolutely. First of all, I just want to touch on what you were saying about the day that when I sourced you that Daytona that you wanted. So I've been buying, selling, and trading watches since 2007. And I remember that specific Daytona. You knew the market very well, right? And you were hustling. You knew other dealers. And I remember the exact day. I was coming from a bris that day, and a friend of mine called and he said, "Listen, there's a big customer. He owns a bank, and he's looking for a Rolex Daytona. If you get this customer, you're gonna get a lot of business from him, right?" And you know, I love hunting for the deal, right? I absolutely love the hunt.
Well, that a lot of people, I mean, being an entrepreneur, being, you know, self-employed, there's really, it's, for me, it's the art of the game, right? Putting a deal together that other people can't do, and making it work and putting all the pieces together, especially when it's self-employed people that have complex type of money coming in and out. You know, you want to find that deal. You want to find the watch, the best possible price, so you can make that deal happen. Each person, I think, from a self-employed world, contractor, whatever, you have to have that why, you know, and it goes beyond, you know, just the art of the deal or anything, but there's more purpose behind that. But for you, it's hunting down that watch and making it happen.
Right. But it's a little deeper because I created a tried and true system to really hunt down the best quality pieces, whether it be new or pre-owned, at the best deal. And I took a lot of pride in creating that special system, right?
I mean, it's from a business perspective. You look at, you say you make connections with different people. I mean, there's how can you create a system around sourcing a watch? I mean, sorry for my ignorance.
Right. So there's all different types of networks and platforms and organizations of and groups of places where you can source these watches from all around the United States and around the world, right? But the way that you do it is there's different systems for different models and different watches that you're looking for. But the lesson that I want to give out from the time that I earned you as my customer is very important, because I don't know if you know this, but I remember telling myself, I'm going to try my absolute hardest to get this business, right? And always sticking to my rule of no matter what, you know, never lie, always do it the right way, you know, and you know, if you fail, admit it, right? So I was hunting and hunting and hunting, and I find the exact watch that you guys want. I bring it up to you with a price, right? I mark it up a little bit. Only issue is you get on the phone and you're like, "Ziv, you sound like you work really hard. You're working on it the whole day. I want to give you the business, but I'll let you know that I have another dealer who basically has the watch for a little bit less. And I'm like, who's the dealer? You named the dealer, and that's the supplier that I was getting it from. So I was like, oh,
I didn't even know that.
right. So I was like, oh, crap. And so then I go back to this supplier. I'm like, asking for wiggle room, this and that. There wasn't any room on the deal. There was mutual friends involved. Abe was bringing him to Abe's friend and told Abe about me, know. So I was like, listen, I'll tell you the truth. The guy that you the guy that quoted you, that's where I was getting it from. He's a good guy. You could trust him. Go buy it, right? And I was done, right? Then 5 minutes later, I got a call, and you're like, listen, I really like the way you do things. I'd rather buy it from you and pay, let me pay you a little bit more and just get it done. And I want it to go through you. That was the first deal we ever had.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's because you went the extra mile and you were honest and you're straightforward. And I'm like that too. And whatever I mean, my business, just like your business, I deal with self-employed people, entrepreneurs, contractors, and mostly high end, not always high end, but our clients tend to, we lend up to $4 million. So for us, and sometimes higher. So for us, it's you have a little bit of the higher, and people that are buying these types of watches are on that higher end. So it's that same type of client you have. But I appreciated the fact that you were just humble enough to say, hey, go ahead, take that deal. And I've done that so many times where I tell them I can't do a deal and you're better off to go here. And a lot of times it comes back to me because they say, you know what? Oh, it was too good to be true. Or, I'd rather stick with you and do the deal. So I respect that. I didn't even know the story that it was the same guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was very interesting because what happened after that deal, we must have done dozens of trades. The referrals that you sent me, the business that you've sent me has been, and it all starts from just trying my hardest that one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that speaks volumes to, that's a true business advice right there is
try.
Really go out of your way and put in the effort. It's doesn't come easy. Life, you have to work hard. And if it comes too easy, there's always something to it where you're better off to really work hard and push, and you'll make it. Depends on what you want. You at that point didn't have any aspirations of doing what you're doing now. So talk to me about your journey. How did you get to being Ziv the Watch Guy from just a regular guy just starting out? I would imagine I was probably one of your earlier customers.
Yeah. So it started off, I was a watch broker, right? It was paying the bills, but it wasn't anything lavish or anything. And I wanted more out of life. Right. I was a first generation watch jeweler, and doing my own thing. And after doing it for like 10 years, I was like, that's it. I'm going to go to law school. And when I decided to sign up for law school, I was like, okay, but this business is still pulling in, at the time it was a significant amount. It was still pulling in like $10,000 profit a month after all expenses. So I was like, I should, why kill that business? I have customers like Meyer. I have customers that I, like, just like you, who love the way I do things, right? But I was looking for something bigger. So I signed up for law school. I started studying for law school, starting for the LSAT. I ended up getting a full scholarship to University of Miami School of Law.
I remember that.
And I was like, this is a golden opportunity. This is the direction, the new direction I'm going in. Now, in order to keep this business alive, I was like, let me teach people, let me open up a school and teach people the watch business so that I can incubate them into partners, so that I could give them a strong percentage, a big percentage of the profits, because I had no problem getting customers. I was always good at marketing, right? So, but the work of actually hunting down the best deals and doing all that, the customer service and going above and beyond, that takes real time.
Sure.
So I taught them how to do the hunt. I taught them my system on how to get the best deal on any high-end watch, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade. And the school is called TEST, Tamir Educational School of Trade. It's not an official school, but that was the idea. Tamir Educational School of Trade. If you come to this school, I will teach you the watch game. I'll teach you how to hunt down the best deals. I'll give you I'll teach you how to get customers. I'll give you extra customers because I'm in law school anyway. I can't handle them, right? I remember you telling me, Ziv, you better not give me one of your guys.
Yeah. I refuse to work with anyone else.
You're the one of the guys that were like, I refuse, right? But for other people, for the customer service, I just I couldn't deal with anyone else, right? So I taught them that business, and eventually during COVID, the business blew up.
Yeah, for sure.
Every minute was another call, another order, another thing. Everyone was buying anything that they get their hands
And that
on.
was the scarcity. It was so scarce, and everyone wanted it, and just hype created hype and more hype. And just like now in the housing market, scarcity, there's no homes, people are hard to qualify, affordability, but yet self-employed people are making money. They're doing what they need to do so they can qualify. Now it's just about making sure how they get the financing. They know they can afford it, but a lot of people don't understand how to qualify. But you, same way, you made it affordable, you made it attainable. They could source it.
Right.
You had the people that were paying for it, no problem. But the sourcing was the problem.
Right. So I was bringing in all different types of people that wanted extra income, people that were, working class, or people that were willing to do the hard work and follow my system. And I had 25 students before COVID.
Wow.
COVID came and it was perfect because I was prepared, because suddenly the demand just became a surge.
Yeah.
And most people couldn't handle all the demand suddenly. But I had 25 people able and willing and ready to start sourcing and giving out and quoting and giving the best deals on the market. So they started.
And all this while you're in law school.
All this while I'm in law school. Then COVID ended and the watch market sort of quieted down and the prices started going down and the demand went down, right? A lot of people ended up with COVID watches that they absolutely regret. But the idea is that after COVID, my guys started coming to me and be like, listen, we need more leads.
Yeah.
We need to get more leads. I'm like, well, I taught you how to get leads. And they're like, no, we need more leads. Right. So I was like, how can I get more leads? How can I get more leads? And it was a mixture of like different advisors and ideas. I was waiting for the right idea. And the right idea came where I would go and show people how I do direct marketing. So I had like this coach, Beryl Solomon, very well-known coach in the Jewish world. And he was like, dude, you got to go do direct marketing. And I'll teach all your guys how to do it as well. And the idea was anytime you see someone with a watch, you strike up a conversation.
It's amazing how you know every single model number. That's the craziest thing to me, because that's the fascinating part, right? Unless you're bullshitting about the model numbers.
Sometimes I do. But the model
Most
numbers,
people don't know the model numbers truly anyways. So
right. The thing is with model numbers is that when you're dealing with them for 20 years and you're buying and selling and trading them, that's like the wholesale lingo. And I actually got pushback from some dealers in the beginning when I was like publicizing the model numbers. They're like, yo, you shouldn't let the public know the model numbers. The less information they know, but the idea is I wanted customers and people to be able to Google it, the model number, and see the exact watch that we're talking about.
Sure.
That way they know exactly what they're buying, because when you're dealing with selling on the internet or selling over the phone or selling across the world, we need to make sure that we're talking about the exact same model, exact same MSRP. Like, for example, the Sky Dweller, there's a 326934 model, right, which was made until 2022. But in 2022, the new one came out, the 336934. Now, they look at the same. They look identical, right? But one has a higher market value. So you can't be. So if I'm quoting you on a 336934, don't tell me you have a better deal by $2,000. Someone else who doesn't give you the model number.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
because you don't know which one you're getting because it's the same exact look.
Right. So I was all about transparency and doing that. So we had one guy telling me go up to every single guy and do direct marketing. Right. Another guy, and then randomly I was approached another guy. His name is Ellie Green. He's a marketer par excellence as well. And I didn't know that he was a marketer, but I was like, I wanted to recruit him to my to teach him the watch business. I'm like, he would be perfect. So because I saw him around the community a lot. He looked like a nice guy, straight shooter. So I was like, hey, why don't you let me teach you the watch business? We could open up a business together. I'll teach you and I'll incubate you into a business. He's like, oh no, I'm a very successful marketer.
I don't need it.
I don't need it, but I have a question. Why doesn't anyone go up to these people? Like the same way, like there's a Daniel Mack going up to people with cars saying, "Hey, what do you do for a living?"
Yeah.
Why doesn't anyone do that with watches? And I'm like, brilliant. I could do that. Right. So then I decided to take Beryl's idea of direct marketing and Ellie's idea, getting it on video, like social media's thing, and then doing it together.
Where'd you come up with the kind sir? That's the classic tagline now. Hello, kind sir.
Right. That's something that I just came up with. Funny enough, when I was probably in high school, when I used to do Mifsaim. You know what Mifsaim is?
No.
So in Lubavitch, Chabad, the organizations, right? There's something called Mifsaim where they teach students from the age of 13 to go out and find other Jewish people or anyone and bring them,
right?
or even non-Jewish people, Gentiles, and bring them closer to God.
So you would just go talk to people. So you got in condition from 13 years old.
Right. If they're Jewish, ask them if they want to put on tefillin, tell them, wish them a good Shabbos, give them Shabbos candles.
So that whole rejection, you got rejected so much that it didn't matter to you at this point when you were going up to people. And did you get pushback? Did people tell you, get the hell out of here?
One lady started hitting me.
No way.
Scratching me and trying to grab my phone away.
What about when you were doing DJ Khaled? He also was pretty pissed off. You didn't even know who DJ Khaled was. Guaranteed, you had no idea who he was.
I had an idea who he was.
Really?
Yeah. And I think though, but there's other people that totally have had no clue. Like for example, people would give me like Lil Baby, for example. Like I was told, hey, he's Lil Baby, he's something. Go get a video of him. He's right there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But there were basketball players.
But they didn't give you a hard time, their bodyguards or anyone, or did you ask permission up front, or it was just?
See, we're already conditioned in Chabad how to do direct marketing. It's a very it's a social selling. So we were taught how to sell God from the age of 13.
So if you could sell God from the age of 13, you can sell watches or go do videos, no problem.
Yeah.
And then how did it explode all of a sudden, or it was a gradual progression and then you had one or two videos go viral and that was it?
So the idea of this social marketing of asking people what they do for a living and for their best advice for people starting blew up immediately. People loved the idea that it was raw, unscripted, real. It was very different from a lot of other videos that were going around where it seemed more, even with the with Daniel Mack doing with the cars, this one would go more in depth about like who the people actually were or how to find them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it added more than just like, hey, what do you do for a living? And banking, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, and then at what point did you realize, wow, this is something scalable that I could possibly do something even more than just sell watches?
So from the very beginning, I knew that it was something. The second I started getting views, I knew that I would be able to get traffic to my site. And then people would see video testimonials of customers that I've been buying, selling, and trading watches to for the past 20 years. So I knew that would be valuable, just getting the traffic and the eyes, right? But my wife was like, let's see you sell something to someone on video. Let's see you actually get a customer of one of the people that you do videos for, because you said it's direct marketing, right? And right away, I just started closing deals with people on the spot, like on video. Like people say, hey, can you get me this? And then I'll sell them a watch that day. Make sure to get it closed and document it. So there's a lot of videos going that I've done that are like that as well.
Wow, that's amazing. And most of your following now, I mean, do you have like a demographic of who they are, what they are? It's just such a random pool of people.
So it's a very diverse group of successful people. A lot of the customers that we have are first time owners of high-end watches, and they want to do it specifically through us because they enjoy the experience of us helping them hunt down the perfect watch for them. A lot of our customers are seasoned, the collectors who've had a collection and they just love trading watches with us. They know that we're going to give them a fair deal. They know that we're going to take care of them. They know that we're looking for the long relationship with them.
That's awesome. So I'm going to transition a little bit away from your business now to your personal, because at this point, I've been part of your life, for the better part of almost 10 years. And, I've seen your journey and I've pushed you hard to purchase a home because at this point, it's crazy. Thank God you're able to do it, but you pay rent and rent and rent and your family's growing. And what triggered in your head that you said, okay, I'm ready now? Because that's part of the reason why you came here today is to get qualified. So what pushed you over the edge?
So the funny thing is my wife and I were millennials, right? And in general, just settling for something, it was not always like something that was so exciting in our mind because we didn't know necessarily which neighborhood we would end up in. But now that we tried out different neighborhoods and we moved into, we tried out Bay Harbor. And again, you mentioned the rent, and we're paying like 5 figures for our rental. It is crazy,
Yeah.
every month. So basically we, but after trying out different neighborhoods and ending up in Bell Harbor, we were like, okay, this is a neighborhood that we want to raise our children. So now finding the neighborhood and knowing where we want to live finally is one of the reasons why. And another thing is that, before I blew up on social media, and because of me running my own business, and not being a typical employee, it's getting a mortgage was complicated
For sure.
I
mean, that's 99% of the business. You go into a bank, they're going to tell you
tax
you
returns.
don't make any money.
Tax
because your
returns, tax returns,
don't
tax
reflect
returns.
that.
That's all they want to see is tax returns.
Yeah. And so when I told you how much you could qualify for, you didn't believe me.
Right.
And the truth is, just based on your business income, you can. And, I don't know if you will or not, but the point is, I want to record this because I'm going to ask you, what advice do you give to people? Because usually you're on the flip side of that. I want to see if this goes viral with me recording you.
Right.
Let me have your phone. Let me record you.
Okay, sure. Here you go.
So we're going to make 2 videos. One is going to be what business advice you give. And 2 is going to be for those people that are looking for a mortgage, what advice would you give them considering you are most likely where they are and what it is? So you ready? 1, 2, 3. So I'm Meyer Dallal. I'm interviewing Ziv the Watch Guy. And normally you're on the other side. So I'm going to ask you, what advice do you give to people who are starting out, who are just getting into business, or even successful entrepreneurs? How do they 10x their business? How do they go to that next level? You're living proof of it, and you're a millennial. You're a young person. What advice can you give these people?
Okay, so the best advice that I can give from the bottom of my heart is no matter where you are, no matter where you're holding, pick a goal that feels like a stretch to you and try your absolute hardest to get it. Try. People are afraid to try. Try, and guess what? When you feel like you're failing and when you look like you're failing, that's when you're actually succeeding. That's
awesome.
When you are growing. So you want to stick to this rule. And Gedalia Fenster told it to me in a way that was like easy to remember. Fail fast and fail often. That way
Very true.
Just fail fast, fail often. If you do that, you know that you're growing. You know that you're getting somewhere.
That's amazing. So I'm going to show the podcast and M-Bank over here. So we're going to do the next one now. All right. So the next one's going to be, what advice do you give people who are looking for a mortgage, who are self-employed, an entrepreneur like yourself?
Absolutely. Now,
one second. Ready? Now we're doing this. What advice do you give to self-employed people, entrepreneurs, 1099 people, because you fall all into it, investors that don't know what they don't know about the mortgage business? They only know tax returns. Now that you're living the dream and you're going through the process with me, what advice do you give these people?
Absolutely. The nature of my business is to buy inventory. So all of my saving naturally goes into more inventory and more watches that we're buying. Therefore, on our actual tax returns, we don't have much to show. A traditional bank will not be able to help you like MBank will be able to help you. That's MBank with a C. So you definitely want to go to MBank, where basically a tax return, he could care less about seeing your tax return, and he's looking at the actual income that your business is bringing in. So you should try to find something that fits for you. And for people like us, it's MBank.
Thank you, sir. So that was awesome. I don't want to take a lot of your time because your time is very valuable. I appreciate it. Are you going to post this whole video on online, or is it too long?
I think this is a great video. I think there's tons of golden nuggets over here.
Absolutely.
I think that we're going to have some great stuff that we can post in 30 to 90 second increments.
I would love to see Ziv the Watch Guy with Meyer the MBank guy.
I love that.
All right. Take
God
care.
bless you.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you so much.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Great.